I first met Monessa when I was sitting in the office of a Pennsylvania state representative, and my eyes met her eyes, and I was instantly intrigued and excited to spend more time with her. She could communicate with her eyes, and I remember thinking at that point in time she was communicating strength and courage, because a lot of people that are that handicapped at that stage might have just wanted to stay home and not come out and advocate to help her cause as well as help other people.
Monessa was diagnosed with ALS in May of 2007. Although she understood that the disease would soon take her life, Monessa was determined to turn her own diagnosis into a positive for someone else. Despite the ravages of the disease, Monessa traveled to Harrisburg and Washington, D.C., urging both state and federal legislators to increase support for ALS research and patient services.
We go into a meeting to meet with a senator or one of their staff. It takes a long time for Monessa to get out her computer or get it plugged in and get it booted up, and then we all kind of sit there quietly, and you can tell that a lot of people in the legislature are very busy and seeing people constantly, one after another, for some cause all day long, and you only have a limited amount of time to get in and kind of tell your story and make your pitch as to why you're there. And you can really see the staffers on the Hill or in Harrisburg and the senators are almost becoming impatient. She spent countless hours preparing on her Dynavox machine what she was going to say. And she would start typing and it would start speaking for her, telling her story, and how you could hear a pin drop. And that impatience that was on their face 1 minute completely turned to absolute compassion the next, and she had them.
Monessa was a fierce advocate no matter what. So when she was in Harrisburg lobbying for money for ALS, I can't imagine that anybody who spoke to Monessa voted against it, because she was a force to be reckoned with. She was one very tough journalist.
There was never a time when Monessa expressed to us, while she was working or even personally, that woe is me, you know, isn't this terrible that something happened to me? She focused on her work.
She started this these series of articles about ALS, which is something I had really encouraged her to do because she had a view of it that nobody else had. She went at ALS with the same passion she went after all other stories. She really showed the devastation, but also the sort of hope and how she could maintain her humanity.
I thought they were tremendous because it put a human face behind the disease. It helped me deal with some decisions and some situations in my life that I've had to deal with the disease. I learned from Monessa and from those articles.
In all, Monessa published 7 articles over the course of a year, and I don't think that that's ever been done in this region, at least, to have so much attention brought to the disease and the work and the mission of the ALS Association.
The one I was most fascinated with was when she went to the body exhibits at the Carnegie Science Center, because I had just been there the week before, and I was so fascinated with the inside of our human bodies and how amazing and brilliant they are, but also dealing with the ALS in my own life where my body's failing me.
Monessa wrote, "Each morning a Coraopolis man I know tenderly places his fingertips on his wife's eyelids and pulls them open gently. She hasn't the strength anymore to open her own eyes. This is ALS. This is an unforgiving, relentless, diabolical illness that robs you of every ability, strength, and vitality to enjoy even the simplest things of life," she wrote. "And then, of course, you die. Those are the ugly facts of ALS."
It was when I read that I realized that Monessa was looking at this and possibly seeing her own future.
So it was hugely impactful to raise awareness and bring attention, and it actually helped garner support in both D.C. and Harrisburg for us. We had never been able to get Senator Specter to publicly endorse our legislation for the ALS Registry Act. We had been working for 4 years to get it passed through Congress, and it was being held up in the Senate. He was the chairman of the committee that oversaw that legislation moving forward. He always used that an excuse of chairing that committee is never being able to publicly endorse the legislation. So Monessa wrote about that in an article after she came back from Capitol Hill last May. And not only did he come out and endorse the legislation, but the day after it appeared in the article, he actually called me at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning to talk about it. And the next day, he published a letter to the editor that endorsed it publicly. We were able to get him on record as helping move that legislation forward. And in fact, after a 4-year battle to get it pushed through Congress, it passed last year.
She knew how to use words powerfully, but she was real. It was just, there was no doubt, there was no veil of BS. Who she was apparent to everybody, and she was the same person to everybody. She was loving. That's what she was.
2 words to describe Monessa. My friend. She was my friend.
Monessa wrote, "It's not something I'd wish on anyone else, but I know it is God who decides these things, and He's not known for mistakes or for unkindness. Even now, I know that He can make my troubles someone else's blessing."
I miss Monessa. I actually thought that we had more time with her. Although she's no longer here and she did her job well, I believe her work will live on.